Hello, everybody, and welcome to our next episode of ABMA's Meet the Legislative Committee video series. Today, we are very pleased to be joined by Andrew Brown from Brown Lumber Company in Alabama. Good afternoon, Andrew.
Hey, what's going on?
Not too much, not too much. Again, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. So, same standard 3 questions we've been asking all the committee members. I'll jump right in here. First one is how did you get involved in the LBM industry?
Really, no grand story there. My granddad started it, and my dad took over from him, and then I just kind of carried the torch from there. So it's just always kind of been in my family and in my genes, and I guess I just didn't know any better.
That's great, keeping it in the family. Next thing, we'd like to hear a little bit about Brown Lumber Company.
Sure. We've been around since 1950. We started out as a sawmill. We started our hardware store and building materials supply portion of our company in 1973, obviously before I was here. We started out as just a small mom and pop little hardware and a few pieces of lumber store, and kind of probably like most, just kind of grew, bit by bit, year over year, decade over decade. And we're about 30 miles south of Birmingham, which is really Alabama's only metro city, I would say. You kind of have Birmingham, Huntsville, and Mobile are kind of like your 3 growth markets of the state. And the south side has always managed to grow a little bit more than the rest. Can't really explain why, it just has. And we've just really been, I wouldn't say that was smart on our part. It was really more luck. So we've always kind of just been in a little honey hole here. We joined the ACE co-op for our retail. I want to say it was 1982 since we've been teamed up with them. We used to have kind of a 70-30 mix of building material to hardware kind of makeup when I started. That's changed. Our market's been really healthy since we've coming out of the recession. I'd probably say it's more of a 85-15, maybe even a 90-10 mix now. Building materials compared to the hardware side of things. Hardware side of things is kind of tapped out. It's it's a good business for us. We don't want to get out of it, but we're in a small town, about 5,000. It's the county seat of the county we sit in. So, but as we sit here today, there's not a ton of like new subdivisions and new industries coming in. So I don't know how much bigger it can get without adding a store or remodeling or things of that nature. But it's a lot easier, as most people in our industry know, to buy another truck or two and expand your delivery radius. So that's always, I guess, kind of been our approach. We cover about a 60-mile radius around Birmingham. We will go further than that if need be. Kind of been forced to here lately the past few years, just with all the consolidation we've had. A few of our kind of independent builders get bought up by your bigger regional national firms, and these guys, they do subdivisions just wherever they can get land. So we kind of have to follow them. I don't mind sharing this. In 19, we did 18 million company wide. In 2020, we did 21 million company wide. And then this past year, we did 35. So it's a lot of that's commodity, inflation, but it's been a whirlwind the past couple of years. I wear a lot of hats. My dad's kind of semi-retired. He still works. They were taking him and my mother both retired. She's retired from the school system. She was a school teacher for 30 some odd years, and taking a lot of vacations before COVID hit. And I think they're trying to kind of get back started doing that. But I handle mainly oversee our outside sales and inside sales, kind of, I guess you would just call it contractor sales department, tracking permits and deliveries. And like one of the things I'm working on now is a couple monthly price lists that we do for some customers. Handle all our AR, do our payroll, purchase a lot of our commodities. That's really kind of it in a nutshell. It keeps me more than busy. What I thought was a couple years ago, what I could get done in 2 or 3 hours, and I thought I was busy. Turns out I didn't know what busy was, because I would say more than anything, purchasing takes up more time now with just the cluster of the supply chain that we have. The days of picking up a phone and ordering a load, whether it be from a mill or a distributor, and getting it in on time and in full, are long gone. So it's just a constant day of chasing things, I feel like, but I've kind of become numb to it, but it's all just part of it.
That's great. Thanks, Andy.
Yeah.
And then the last thing we always ask is, you've been a big part of our committee so far, as we've started our work here, doing our federal advocacy. What do you think is one of the most important things that we can tackle as an ABMA advocacy group?
What I can't figure out when I started work was the busiest housing boom ever in the country. We're building somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 million units around the country. We can't even hardly get 1.5 million done now. And I hadn't really been able to pinpoint the exact reason why. You would think in the past 15 some odd years, we've become more efficient. You would think that the population has grown. Obviously, it does every year. You would think we'd be able to pump out more than we're currently capable of. I know we have the COVID reasons and the rail car shortages and the truck driver shortages and all the labor issues that we're facing. But I think one frustrating thing for our industry is whenever you hear people on TV, whether it's CNBC or whether it's the National Association of Home Builders or people like that, for the past 2 years, all I've heard is, well, lumber's expensive. Did you see what lumber's done? Have you seen the latest stock chart of what lumber's trading at? And it's really taking it on the chin for all these other bits and pieces that are a part of the big equation. Nobody's talking about concrete or steel or sheetrock or the fact that roofing's had, I don't know, probably a dozen increases in the past year. They kind of fly under the radar. So I think it's I don't know how to pinpoint it on one thing, and I thought about this when I saw your list of questions, but we gotta get, and I do think it starts with the supply chain. We got to get more lumber in from Canada. We got to get more lumber in from the ports. We got to get these plants. I think back to the mid 2000s again, when we were building all those 2 million houses. I remember OSB getting up to, I don't know, let's call it $20, which everybody had a heart attack when that happened. And, here we are building less houses and can't pump out as much. And most of your plants, like I said, you would think are probably manned by less people. They're probably more efficient and more technologically driven. It's been an odd bird the past year and a half, 2 years. And we got to the higher powers that be in the big corporate offices and especially your national, international trade commerce folks. We got to. I think that's the biggest challenge is just getting all those bottlenecks out to where we can get that number higher. And I'm not saying 2 million should be our goal, but I think we should be able. If we could do it 15 years ago, we should be able to do it now. Is my opinion. And I know we're way behind the 8 ball when you think about recession years and how little we were producing for those 3, 4, 5, 6 years in a row there. We were way behind meeting that supply and demand curve of sustainable housing for, I've always read about 1.6, 1.7 is what it takes to meet that demand just of population growth. So if we ever want to catch up and kind of get this thing stable, that's our challenge. And it's not an easy one. I think one of the biggest things is just getting everybody to pull in the same direction. You'll have the government saying one thing, you'll have the Home Builders Association saying one thing, and then somebody else saying another. It's if you could get them all kind of in one room on the same page and tug them. A lot of times they try to do too many things at once. Like you're not gonna fix all that with one bill. or, with one email or whatnot. It's going to take, just kind of pinching one thing off at a time and, and chopping wood at it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I will thank you for joining us today. I'm sure everybody appreciates meeting you, and we look forward to working with you down the line and continuing to grow what we're doing here at ABMA. So thanks a lot, Andrew, and have a great day.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks a lot.
All right, see you, bud.